Alrighty. Good afternoon. Today we are changing our oil on our pressure washer. We have a Honda GX390, which right next to it we have another Honda GX390. The only difference is this is ran by a cat pump, and this is belt driven. This has a belt drive right behind it. This is a 4,000 psi, 4 gallon a minute Bandit edition. And today we're going to be changing the oil. We're going to be using this stuff. And I've noticed there's not too many tutorials on changing the oil, which is pretty simple, fairly easy process. But you know what? Another video on YouTube wouldn't hurt. So the way that it's set up is it has this little thing that comes out. And I made this little pan to catch the oil. So we know where it's going. So now let's get down to business. We're going to drain all the oil out. It's always good to make sure wherever you're doing this is nice and level. Keep this right here. And we're just going to drain it. We're going to look, we're going to make sure that there's no metals, there's nothing in our oil that could cause any problems in the future. Very self-explanatory, but you know what? It needs to be said. Right now we're at 333 hours on this machine. And every 40 hours you want to change your oil. And about every, let's say, 500 hours you want to change your oil in your cat pump. Still going, still pouring. And it's just one full quart, and that's it. These are the most reliable motors you can ever purchase, as long as you keep up with the maintenance and you do your oil changes. These will last forever. Unless you live in South Florida and you deal with a lot of corrosion. All right. So our ultimate goal is is a pressure washer. This is what we're using it as. I want to be able to hook up these two motors side by side simultaneously to work tandem, so I can run bigger equipment than what I already have. All right. Pretty self-explanatory. Take the cap off, drain it, put the cap on, get your oil, and just put it back in. Again, you want to be looking to make sure there's no signs of any metal shavings or anything that could show you that there's any internal problems with the motor. All right. And while we're at it, we're just gonna check the oil, take these plugs out, make sure that it's got a nice flow and draining good. That looks like some really good clean oil. Places that I go get oil changes, they're done much faster because they have a machine that instead of doing what I'm doing, they have a machine that they shove, it's like a straw into here, and they suck all the oil out, even to the bottom of the pan. They suck all the oil out, and that's when they put the new oil in there, which I find it to be a more effective way to change oil. But I mean, it's pretty common sense, you know, very self-explanatory step and procedure. Except I need to put one of these like nipple things onto this guy. He doesn't have one. You just take the bolt off and the oil just comes right out. This one I mounted myself. All right, we're almost done. Still going. Just make sure all the oil's out. Let's put this cap back on here. You don't want to force it in. You want to counterclockwise to make sure it gets on the threads, and then take it out. So yeah, it's pretty much almost empty. Again, there's no metal shavings. There's nothing in here we need to worry about, which is a good thing. It's good. Looks like some really nice, clean, healthy oil. And doing exactly what I'm doing will maintain the lifespan of this. All right, and we're coming to the end. Draining out everything. And again, you always want to do an oil change on a nice leveled surface. You don't want to be at a decline, incline, nothing, flat. And every last drop. Now once we know we successfully drained our oil, we want to put our lid back on. that nice and tight. That's nice and tight. Now we're gonna take our plug. We're gonna clean it off one more time. Let's put this guy back in here. Actually, I wonder if it's easier if we can fill it up from that side. Confirmed all the oil is taken out. Now let's take our funnel. All right, now we're gonna go slowly, nice and slow. There's no rush. And take 1 full quart of oil. So now when I'm done with this, I take a picture of the hours. So we're at 333 hours. And then I just add 40 to it. So I figure out when my next oil change is gonna be. And just keep it going. All right, and then we're making sure we put the entire quart inside. All right, once our oil's in, put this down. Get our cap, put this on here. Now our oil is clean, nice, clean, full, and ready for another 40 hours to be put into it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we successfully change our oil in our Honda GX390 Bandit Edition belt driven 4,000 psi, 4 gallons a minute. Soon these will be connected together and we'll be pushing 8 gallons a minute. Hard-working man. What's up, brother? You know what? Your tools are only as good as you are, and then if you're not maintaining them, what are you doing with yourself? Well, I hope this is going to be useful for anyone in the future that needs any suggestions, recommendations, or just confidence in changing their oil, because I always paid to have my oil changed and I never did it myself until today. Today is my first time changing the oil myself and saving myself, I think it's like $60, which is $70. 70% is labor. And the other 30% is actually paying for the oil. But you know, when you do go to oil change at these places, they at least change your cap pump oil. So out of every 40 hours you're putting into your machine, you need to put 500 hours into this. So we're about 200 more hours into having this oil pump replaced, and then we're good to go for another 500 hours and 40 hours. So there are ways to reach me. You can follow my Discord. I'll put my Discord in the link and we'll go from there. Have a great day, you guys, and be careful.